let us learn how to make the Starburst Square. This is an overlay mosaic from the center out design. We'll be working on the right side only. And the back side basically looks like stripes. What you're going to do is you're going to carry your yarn up along the back side. So you start in this corner and you work your way around. Okay, and then you start in the middle, get bigger. Each row is just one color. You're using just one color each per row, and then switching colors every row. You're only going to really need to know how to do a chain stitch, a back loop only single crochet, and then a front loop only double crochet done 2 rows below. So here I've taken white, skipped over the purple, and used the front loop that's been left over to do my double crochet. And that's the basics. This here is the Starburst washcloth. I ended with a border round for row 20. Here we're going to go a little bit bigger to make a 12-inch square. I'm not going to show you how to do the full video, but we're going to do a few rounds and then you can keep following the chart to finish off your square. I'm using some leftover worsted weight yarn. This is some Furls Wander. I'm going to guess you need about, well, less than 100 yards per color. And then a size H 5mm hook. Again, I have this one from Furls. I love Furls hooks. I'm going to show you the chart we're following for this. Here we just have the triangle chart, different symbols, and here's our legend. Here we start with the magic circle in the middle. And then the plus is the single crochet stitches. You have a dot. That's a chain stitch. If the block is plain white or gray, it's a back loop only single crochet. If there's an X, it's a front loop only double crochet, where I showed you skip the row and then use the front loop down below. The numbers over here indicate what round you're at. Then you see how there's these stitches that are outlined here. That's the corner stitch, okay? So what you do for a corner stitch is a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, and you're doing that in the back loop only of the chain 1 stitch. So this is a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, all done in that corner chain 1 stitch. Make sense? So we start here, and then we're going to go here. Then when you're at this corner, basically you're turning this, but you're just repeating this over and over again, okay? So what you do is you work the corner, and then the stitch, and then repeat corner, that stitch. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I know it will as we go along. As mentioned, we begin with a magic circle, and this is how I do my magic circles. Okay, then after you do your magic circle, I always do a chain 1. Okay, so inside that magic circle, we are doing 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and pull that straight, pull that tight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're good. I'm going to do an invisible join. So I take my hook out on the back side from that first stitch, insert my hook, then I'm going to connect the yarn, kind of pull it tighter, and then just pull that through. Okay, that's the invisible join. Then I'm going to untangle here, and bada boom. That's our first round. We just have 8 single crochets and an invisible join inside that magic ring. Let's begin round 2. For round 2, we're going to be using our other color, because you see here we're doing our chain and it's using our other color. So I'm going to grab color B, and then we'll do our corner. Okay, that's where we're going to work a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet into the back loop only of the chain 1. Okay, it's gonna work a little bit different here for round 2, and I'll just show you how to do it. Here I have my color B, and I'm going to attach it just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to be doing a chain 1. I'm also going to show you how I'm going to be carrying the yarn up. So the unworked yarn, that'll be color A, I'm going to carry color A for this first back loop only single crochet. Okay, so I'm pulling that kind of taut, and I'm going to line this up and work over it. So we're going to do that back loop only single crochet, making sure to hide and carry that yarn with me. Okay, now I'm going to do a chain 1. In that same stitch here, I'm going to do a back loop only single crochet, but I'm just going to drop the unworked yarn and just leave it hanging out there. Okay, so now I'm not working over that. I'm just doing a back loop only single crochet in that same space. Okay, so we've just worked over it once, and that's just kind of like a placeholder. So we've just worked our first corner here. Single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. And now we're going to do here. Blank box, that means back loop only single crochet. And then we have our corner. Okay, so we just work a corner, back loop only single crochet, 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 and then we join. Make sense? Let's do it. Okay, so we've done our corner, and now we do our back loop only single crochet, and now we're going to work our next corner. So here in this next stitch, we're doing a back loop only single crochet, chain 1, and then in that same stitch, back loop only single crochet. And now we do just our 1 back loop only single crochet, and then we work our corner. Back loop only single crochet, chain 1, back loop only single crochet, and there's our corner. Do you notice how when I worked the last, the second back loop only single crochet of that corner, I kind of like turned the work. Here, I'll show you how I do it again. The 1 stitch is the back loop only single crochet, and then we're back at our corner. Okay, so here I just keep this level with the row I'm on. Back loop only single crochet, chain 1, and then now I'm like turning, and that kind of gives me crisper corners. Back loop only single crochet, and then we have our back loop only single crochet, our 1 stitch here in the middle, and then now we're at our corner. I don't need any more stitches on that side. I just have to do a invisible join to the first stitch here. Here it gets kind of tricky, and I don't know if I picked the right colors for this, but I'd like to leave a big loop there so I don't lose it. And then this part right here, that's kind of the chain that we made at the beginning. So I like to just go through and find where that single crochet is. It's, you always think it's going to be this one here, but that's the chain. Okay, so I just insert the hook through the back, grab the loop that I had left, I'm going to pull it tighter so I don't lose it, and then pull it through. Okay, I just want to do a bit of untangling, and we're ready for round 3. Round 3, we change colors. This is what we're going to do every round. So we just know before I even look at my chart, I'm going to change colors like so. And then I like to pull that color tight, and then I do my chain 1. Okay, so now we are ready to work our corner. Remember, we want to carry our yarn with us for that first back loop only single crochet stitch. Not sure if you can hear the boys yelling in my house, but we got wild boys here. Okay, back loop only single crochet, chain 1. Now I can drop that yarn, or just holding it in place there for the next round. And then in that same stitch, you're going to work a back loop only single crochet. Okay, so that's the corner. I always work that up before looking at the chart because it's the same every time. Okay, so we are now on round 3. We've done our corner. And now here's the stitches that are on either side. You just have a back loop only single crochet, front loop only double crochet. I'll teach you how to do that. Back loop only single crochet in our corner. So single, double, single. Okay, so you're going to find the next stitch, which is here, and do your single crochet, back loop only. Now here we're going to do our front loop only double crochet. So double crochet, we're going to yarn over. We're not going to do it in the purple. Since we're using white, we're going to go and find the white front loop that was left behind right here when we did our back loop with the purple. Okay, so yarn over, pull through that loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So there we have it. You'll see that it is pulling right there. It's okay. It kind of evens out in the end and you won't really notice it. Okay, so next we're going to do a back loop only single crochet. So just find your next stitch. Make sure to skip over one stitch here in the purple because that is our double crochet stitch. Okay, and now we're ready for another corner. So you're going to work the corner in the chain stitch. And you're going to do it in the back loop only of the chain stitch. You're going to do back loop only single crochet, chain 1, and in that same spot, back loop only single crochet. And that's the corner. Now repeat the chart where we're doing back loop only single crochet, front loop only double crochet. Okay, here's where you would normally work. Just go down and find that front loop down below. And then back loop only single crochet. Now we're at a corner. Here's the chain stitch, back loop only single, chain 1, and I turn my work to do my corner, back loop single once again. Now we do back loop single. So we're going to do a front loop double crochet right here in the middle. Okay. Then a back loop single, and then we're doing our last corner here. So back loop single crochet in that chain stitch, chain 1, and then turn to get that crisp corner in that same space to a back loop single. Okay, then for our side we do our back loop single, front loop double, and then our back loop single. Then we're going to do our invisible join. This right here is our chain that we started with. So we're going to skip that and go right here is the back loop. I'm going to go in from behind. Pull that through. And it's always kind of tangled, so I untangle it. We're ready for round 4. So drop that color A, grab color B again, loop it on, do a chain 1, and then we're going to work our corner, remember? So this is a single crochet. We're going to work in the chain right there. Work over the yarn you're not using. Carry that with you for the first stitch. So we do a back loop only single crochet in that chain 1. Then drop the yarn, do chain 1, and back loop only single crochet in that same space. Okay, that's our corner. And now I'm going to grab the chart and we can have a look at what we're doing. We're on row 4. So we've worked our corner, and now we're going to do a back loop single, front loop double, back loop single, front loop double, back loop single. Okay, you see how we're adding 2 stitches every row? Like here we had 1 stitch in the middle, now we had 3 stitches in the middle, now we're going to have 5 stitches in the middle. Okay, back loop, front loop, back loop, front loop, back loop. Okay, a little every other going on right now. Okay, so back loop single, go into the front loop double. So just kind of track your stitches and know, I think, where you're going. Front loop double crochet. Okay, back loop single crochet, front loop double crochet, and right here, back loop single crochet. Okay, now we're ready for our corner, which is worked here in the chain 1. So back loop single crochet, chain 1, turn, back loop single crochet in that same spot. Okay, then repeat. Back loop single, front loop double. Back loop single, front loop double. Back loop single, and now our corner. Back loop single, chain 1, back loop single. Okay, back loop single, front loop double. Back loop single, front loop double. Back loop single, and here we are on our corner. Chain 1's right here. So back loop single, chain 1, turn it, back loop single in that same spot. Okay, here's our last side. Back loop single crochet, then front loop double, back loop single, front loop double, back loop single. Okay. We're going to skip that chain 1 and we're going to do our invisible join here, coming from the back of that first stitch. We're going through both of those loops. You know, we've been doing the back loop only, but when we're doing our invisible join, we're going through both loops. Okay. And I always have to see about untangling. Sometimes that means doing a little twisty twist. So then we're going to start all over again. Pulling up our white, chain 1, and then doing our corner. So for that first stitch of that first corner, we want to work over our unworked yarn. So back loop single, chain 1, drop that unworked yarn in that same space, back loop single. You guys understand how to work the corners now, I hope. And we're just going to work this 5th round, and then I'm going to leave you go. Okay, so we have our corner, and then we have back loop single, front loop double. 3 back loop singles, front loop double, front loop single. You notice how in the middle each side is going to be kind of a mirror image. So we have 1, 1, 3, 1, 1. One back loop, and then one front loop, double crochet. Okay, and now I'm going to do 3 back loop single crochets. Okay, and then a front loop double. Find that front loop that's left behind, double crochet, and then our final single. And now we're ready for our corner. If you're ever wondering, like, how do you know which one is the single crochet, which one's the chain, I always look and see which stitches are going into to make that corner. So there's one, and here's in the middle, and that's our chain stitch. So back loop single, chain 1, back loop single, and then we repeat our side. Back loop single, front loop double, back loop single, back loop single, because we're doing 3 back loop singles, and one more. Okay, and then our front loop double crochet, back loop single, and our corner.